Welcome to Oracle Database World AI Edition, Oracle Apex with AI, building next-gen AI-powered apps. Today, we're going to talk about building an AI-powered image search on top of a previous hands-on lab with a whole new hands-on lab just for the purpose of enabling AI in an Apex application. My name is Jason Haynes. I'm in Tampa, Florida, and I'm a Senior Principal Product Manager here to talk about Oracle Apex and AI. As you can see by the smile on my face, I love Apex, and I love being able to share all the wonderful goodness using Apex brings to the surface for us developers and, of course, end users alike that are able to use the solutions we build. What is Oracle Apex? Well, Apex is known as the world's most popular enterprise low-code application platform. It enables us as citizen developers or professional software engineers alike to build these scalable and secure enterprise apps with world-class features, 20 times faster with 100 times less code. So that's the low-code versus high-code comparison. Oracle Apex delivers the most productive way to develop these apps and deploy mobile and web apps everywhere, from cloud, even on premises, all as one particular tool set. This platform has been used to build over 20 million apps created to date. Over 3,000 apps are created every day using Oracle Apex, regardless of where it may be that we know of. It could be on premises, in cloud, or on apex.oracle.com, in fact. We know of about 800,000 Apex developers worldwide, about 60,000 customers across 150 countries, and all of this represents about 90% of Fortune 50 customers and companies that use Oracle Apex as well. So as you may know, Apex is largely used by the financial district and large government agencies, but also small mom and pop shops and profit organizations alike for the purpose of building quick solutions and even enterprise level solutions, in addition to all the other capabilities that you can use Apex for building solutions for. Everything about Oracle Apex is available at apex.oracle.com. You'll see in a demonstration in a moment where there's a little bit more information, but it's all organized based on the menu selections for the platform, solutions, learn, and community. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the hands-on labs that are part of the tutorials of learning Apex. Starting for free today means several things in the Apex world. You can actually go to apex.oracle.com and request a free workspace on that particular service, which is known as our customer evaluation instance of Apex. Beyond that, you can go get your own instance of Apex on Oracle Cloud by creating an always free tenancy or an ATP tenancy or autonomous database tenancy or all the other different flavors of Oracle Cloud features out there that are going to suit the needs that are going to be used by your organization for the purpose of whatever cloud offers. And Apex is just a part of that. Also, you can download Apex and use it on premises if you have an Oracle database that's licensed. You can install the latest release of Apex every time they come out, do any patches, and start developing apps right away using Apex on premises, on your own bare metal, your own hardware. So you have at least 3 different main options, but we're going to focus on creating a free workspace on apex.oracle.com today. So that is our customer evaluation instance. No credit card required. It looks just like this when you hit the free sign up. You fill in this particular form with your name, your email address, and then you request the workspace. You get that email, and when you do, you click the button and a workspace is created on apex.oracle.com. And you can develop apps there. You can experiment with new features in Apex, and you can just start enjoying all the features that Apex offers us developers. From our website on that Learn section, you're going to see this section called Tutorials, and that is where our hands-on labs are. The idea of hands-on labs is synonymous with workshops, and these hands-on labs have a variety of different features, and they offer different skill levels of Apex developers to learn more maybe than what they used to, or to learn new ways of building apps. And of course, extending them with various features of cloud. In particular, on that hands-on lab page, the build a social media app is what we're building on top of today to enable AI in an Apex application. So we had to start somewhere. And this particular hands-on lab is about building a social media app where you can look at a timeline if there's been a lot of content supplied. Other people maybe have uploaded images or created posts. The whole idea then is to take that app and add an AI feature to it where when images are uploaded, they have certain keywords identified of their content, such as if I upload a picture of a cat, one of those keywords should be cat. If I upload a picture of a dog, one of those keywords should be dog. And we're going to use the AI service to populate our data set in our local data model for that purpose, and then make it so that the app can actually search that data. But the premise here is assuming that you've done this lab, you could just start where you left off on this hands-on lab and continue. But should you wish to build this app from scratch, you can just jump into that hands-on lab with the shortcut you see at the bottom of the screen here. It takes about an hour, and this one is intended for an audience of everyone. If you've never built an application before, this is the hands-on lab for you to get started. And then the continuation of that will be what we talk about from this point forward. But before we get there, understand that the whole idea of doing these hands-on labs and using Apex is all about the argument of high code versus low code. And with Oracle Apex low code, this image pretty much exemplifies our message. The fact that you don't need all that stuff on the cart on the left. You just need Apex to build most all of these particular advanced applications that developers are yearning to do today. Your users want apps and they expect certain functionality and certain features, and Apex helps address much of all of that with almost no code at all. And in many cases, it's about the low code or extending feature function of these features in Apex with a little bit of low code, and in some cases, high code if you really need it. But you don't need to learn all that stuff on the left. You don't need to use any of that stuff to bring these Apex applications to life. Apex is a no-cost feature of Oracle Database. Doesn't matter where it is, in cloud or on-premises or multi-cloud, including Azure, AWS, doesn't matter where it is. If you have a licensed Oracle database, Apex can be made available to you. A middle tier would be necessary, and that is Oracle REST Data Services, or otherwise known as ORDS. But in cloud, Oracle Cloud specifically, that becomes something that you don't have to configure yourself. Once you've got an Apex service set up or an Apex instance configured on any of the variety of tenancy options, ORDS is there in the background and wired up to be able to be ready to be used. But you can use apex.oracle.com, as I'll demonstrate today, where you don't need to worry about any of that other cloud complexity either. But know that Apex and AI specifically is a combination of an Apex application that uses AI services via REST data sources with low code. So an Apex workspace is required to build this Apex app, and an account and service API key is required to add these AI features to Apex apps in general. And that goes for any other third-party service. It doesn't matter whether it's on Oracle Cloud or any of the other opportunities online. If you want to leverage an Apex app over REST data sources with other features, odds are it's not a free service over there or something that needs to be protected and isolated for your use. So that's where you need an API key. In Oracle Cloud, the Oracle AI stack looks something like this, where we have our Apex applications on top and the variety of AI services that are available. We're going to focus on the Vision AI service, and we're going to use that via REST data sources in our Apex app. Now, this all sits on top of the machine learning services that are in the back end, all on top of the data that may be also there in Oracle Cloud, where you may also have your own Apex instance to work with as well. But that all sits on top of the AI infrastructure with all that hardware in the back end that makes this magic come together. But in Oracle Cloud Console, it looks like this. When you actually navigate to AI services, you will actually see an image capable of being represented as something that would be uploaded and analyzed by this image classification service. What happens then is, in this particular case, that image is identified as a car containing a bus, containing a person, and so forth. That information is then what we're going to leverage in Apex, and that's all done by working with an API. And then that data comes back as a JSON payload that we can then parse and insert into our own table structure and then leverage for the search features of our app moving forward. So here we are with a hands-on lab for build an AI-powered image search. It's going to look something like this. So the same kind of app, you're going to have the ability to look at the different images that are posted on the timeline, just like you would with Instagram or Facebook or any of these other online services. But as you can see, if you look a little bit closely here, there is an AI search box where we can type some keyword that can then be used to filter what the report shows, which is now called a cards region in this Apex app. But how do we get there? How do we have the ability of an AI search in our own app where we upload these images? That's what we're going to talk about today. Enter the Build an AI-powered image search hands-on lab from this URL at the bottom. Similarly as before, if we go over to our browser, this is apex.oracle.com, and we can see under Learn, this is where the tutorials are. I can navigate to the tutorials, and as I scroll down, I can see Build AI-powered image search, which is based on the previous hands-on lab just beneath it for Build a social media app. But this is a shortcut because as part of the steps in following this lab, you will be downloading a completed version of Build a Social Media app. In doing that, then you just add on a bunch of features. And from some of the steps here, as the getting started is showing here on this list, you have several options on how you can get started. You can use Apex Service, Autonomous Database in Oracle Cloud, or you can use apex.oracle.com. That's the easiest. When I go back to the main page of apex.oracle.com, I can start for free today, navigate to this screen where I can see a free Apex workspace is an option. And this is where I can fill in this form and request a workspace to start developing. So that's the option we're going to pursue today. You can do a number of different things otherwise to use your own workspace. But once that is completed, you can then sign in. So I'm going to sign in right here. I'm going to log into my workspace called PM Demo. And now I'm immediately brought to the Apex Builder where I can see App Builder. And in App Builder, I'm going to filter based on all my apps, social, because I have 3 different copies of the app. The one copy I have is what you will actually pull in to your workspace from the steps shown here. So we have lab 1, which is all about configuring API keys and listed so forth with these different labs. Each one has several tasks to follow. If we just quickly snap back over here to our presentation, this is the overall summary. So it's going to take these 6 steps to take that basic social media app and enable it with AI. So the first thing we'll need is API keys and OCI console configured. My tenancy is going to be unique to everybody else's tenancy, but we want that API key configuration available in our app. And how do we do it? That involves creating web credentials in Apex. And then we have to create a REST data source in Apex based on that API using those keys. And then we add a page process on the actual Apex app page where when we upload that image, it is sent off to this service to be processed and analyzed, and then have a result set returned as a JSON payload of keywords that we can use to actually make a search function work on our app. But to do that, we have to parse the response, store the information in the database, and add an Apex search UI. So I want to show you some of that now. So from here, the very basic vanilla app looks like this. This is what you download from the workshop. I've already uploaded a picture of a building and a picture of my cat, Simon. Not a lot going on here, 2 images, but I do have an add post. This is the basic original hands-on lab where I can choose a file, add a comment, and hit post. From there, there's a map feature where I can see where these images were uploaded from. Here I am in Florida. But what we want to do is to start work with this AI configuration. So this will require me to switch gears over to another browser where I have access to my OCI tenancy. So once I'm signed into my Oracle Cloud account, I'm able to navigate from the hamburger menu to Vision AI Services. In Vision AI Services, I will then see there's an option for image classification. As I showed earlier in one of the slides, as soon as you access this page, the act of uploading a photo takes place and this image is analyzed, and we can see the results. This amounts to a request payload that is in JSON based on my information and my API keys, and a response based on what the analysis with AI returns. And this is another JSON document that can then be parsed and allow our data to be augmented for the purposes of search. But to even get here, in OCI and Oracle Cloud, I have to navigate to my profile and find my API. And in this case, it's actually an API set of keys. So this is my profile. I scroll down to API keys and click on it. And this is where I can see the currently configured API keys. And you can add as many as you want. But this is already configured. As part of this, you'll get an SSL certificate, and part of the steps of following the hands-on lab will include where you use that information, as well as this fingerprint and the user OSID and tenancy OSID. Now, I know you may be thinking, oh, he's showing his keys. I'm not worried about it. I'll be deleting this set of keys later, and they will not work any longer. But the idea is the same. You would go in here and add that API key, create that set of credentials that could then be used in Apex. So if I go back to my browser and show you the Apex app, one of the things we would do is navigate actually into App Builder, Workspace Utilities, and you'll see here is where Web Credentials is. So this is a workspace-based feature. The hands-on lab will then walk you through creating these AI credentials. I have a bunch of other credentials in my list, so it's going to look different than yours, but this is where you can see some of that Oracle Cloud API information reused. And the private key is that information that is part of the process of requesting the API key. Once that's all configured, this becomes something we can select in defining our REST data sources, which is what we're going to do next. So if I go back to App Builder and dive into the app in question, Part of the process will be in shared components, REST data sources. Notice I have none. So I navigate in here. The expectation is I'm going to create this from scratch. And in doing it from scratch, there are a whole variety of configurations that I walk through. This will be an Oracle Cloud Infrastructure setting. I'll give it a name. I'll give it an endpoint, all of which is covered in the hands-on lab. Let's fast forward to a copy of the app where this has already been done. This is another copy I have here. Navigate back to shared components, and I will see that I've already got a REST data source in this app. When I navigate into that, I see it's called test. And here's where it has already been set up. I can see that it is using my Apex AI credentials. And I can see that the data profile has been configured with various operations. And one of the operations is a post operation. It has 5 parameters. All of this is walked through in the hands-on lab. Here I can see my request body template. I can see all the operation parameters. This now completes the configuration for my REST data source. So I have my API key, my web credentials in Apex, and now the REST data source. Now I'm ready to augment my application with these features. This particular hands-on lab is only one particular page in Apex for the whole purpose of the timeline. It's organized according to the rendering tree, such as you see. It's got a timeline region, which is based on a SQL query. It's a cards region. There's a bunch of good stuff in here in the SQL. I can see the code here. Nothing fancy. This is plain vanilla in terms of how the app works based on the original hands-on lab. But there's also a hidden region that is used for the purpose of uploading an image. But what's important is on the processing side of this page. On the processing side, insert post is still part of it, but this is where I've added extra features already in this copy of the app. The analyze image is an execution chain, and the first thing that happens after the post is inserted is I'm invoking the REST data source, and that happens to be this one called test in this particular copy. It's a REST source called test. The operation is post, and it has a variety of parameters, which includes my compartment ID, the feature type, which is image classification, and the file data will be mapped to it by a little small code doing a SQL query against the page item. A response comes back, and that page item P1 response will then be parsed with another process and then updates the actual data model and the data table with that list of tags that comes back from the service. So far, I've just seen a few snippets of code, and that's all the load code that's necessary to wire this up. So if I now go to another copy of the app, the final one, this is part 2, where I've done a few other things on the page. If I navigate to Page Designer on that page, you will see in addition to that base functionality with the timeline, I've now got an AI search page item. It is just a text field. That's where I can type in cat or dog. And from here, the post process is pretty much the same. It's got the compartment ID configured. It's going to parse the response, and it's going to actually update the data. So if I run this app, I can see all this in action. I've already uploaded 2 images. I see a picture of my cat, Simon. I see here I'm showing in the cards, animal, carnivore, cat, cheek, and pet. That came back from the AI service. The same thing with lake, metal, plant, vegetation, and water, where the ducky is charging. But let's upload another picture. So for my system, I'm going to navigate to where my pictures are and go into photos. I have a picture of my dog, Yogi. I'm going to go ahead and zoom into Yogi here a little bit and resituate it and hit apply. This is using the Apex image uploader. And I'm going to put a comment, Yogi, our lovable, blind Australian shepherd with all my typos. I hit post. And now I see my Apex app is doing a bit of work where this image was uploaded and then posted to that AI REST data source that is actually an AI vision image classification service on Oracle Cloud. And you can see in addition to my comment that that service has returned dog, dog collar, eyewear, human, and pet. So there is a human back there petting Yogi's ears. I'm not sure where the eyewear came from, but there would be a percentage assigned to that. Maybe it's a low percent, and I didn't do anything to isolate just the top percentages that came back in analyzing this photo. But it is now showing the fact that that data has been captured. If I go to SQL Workshop Object Browser, I can look at the table. And again, this is based on the original hands-on lab. But if I look at SM Post where this data has been uploaded and switch to data, what I am not seeing is the rest of the data here. The latitude and longitude has been captured, but I can also see there's an AI output column where that data has been captured. So back at the original app then that I've been working with, there's also been a change. On the timeline where the SQL is, as part of the hands-on lab, we insert a new where clause, which looks like this, where it compares the value of my search phrase or if it's null. And it's looking to make a comparison for that list of tags. So what this means now is in my AI search box, I can type cat and press enter. And locally, this report is now being filtered on a match for cat in these tags. If I search for dog, similarly, I'm now filtering against that image, which is an image of a dog, my dog Yogi. If I clear it out, it'll return all the records. And if I go to the map, I will see that these images have been uploaded by demonstration here in Florida. So I draw a little box around Florida. This is where I'm at. And this is where it becomes fun. I've uploaded other pictures, but since deleted them, but you get the idea that wherever you are in the world, if location services is turned on with your mobile phone or your desktop, the latitude and longitude will be recorded as part of the process and then can be rendered on the map as well. And every bit of this can be customized greatly. So check, we did all of these things. We configured our API keys. We created web credentials. We created the REST data source. We added an Apex page process to invoke that data source. We're parsing the response and storing the information in the database. And we've added Apex Search UI to the page. All that came together quite literally with almost no code at all and just a couple little bit of snippets of low code to process the data. Did you know that InfoWorld, the Technology of the Year award, went to Oracle Apex last year? For software development, Apex was named as sounding like the future of software development. On our roadmap, we have a bunch of rich AI features coming down with the next release of Apex, and we can't wait to share all that with you and allow you to build your Apex applications with low code and AI features more easily than ever before. Really, there is no limit to the possibilities here. You can use REST data services in Apex to call any third-party service or feature to do data processing of any variety, and then make your Apex app that much more powerful than ever before. In addition to the hands-on lab that I pretty much overviewed here, if you want even more hands-on labs, you can go to developer.oracle.com/live labs, where we have almost 100 other labs that are available with Apex, various topics, including database and all the other different products available at Oracle in the stack of software development, all of which can be exercised at your leisure for free. And you can learn more about Apex and become that much more capable of being an Apex developer. Thank you for your time. Find me on LinkedIn or X. I am at Jason Haynes, and this has been a presentation of showing you how Apex can be easily extended with AI features, with no code or low code, and made to be very, very functional and fun all along the while learning how to do it. That's been Oracle Apex. Thank you.